Just wanted to let you know, I use natural light, and for the most part, it's pretty even throughout the video, but there are some areas where the light changed because it was a cloudy day, the clouds were shifting. So just so you know, if things look a little wonky, it's because of the lighting. Hey guys, welcome back to the Style and Beauty Doctor on YouTube. So today, we are going to be talking about the brand new Beauty Blender foundation. Now, this is an innovation for the brand that brought innovation to the way that we put our makeup on, the way we blend our makeup. I mean, as a matter of fact, the Beauty Blender is one of those brands where the brand name is now synonymous with the product category, like Q-tip or Vaseline or Kleenex, you know, those kind of things. But it comes not without some controversy, as things happen to be in the beauty industry today. So we are going to talk about all of that. I'm going to do my makeup with my foundation match in their new range, and let's get into it. So, full disclosure, I have a bit of a relationship with the Beauty Blender brand. Now, it's not a relationship where it's like I can call the owner up and be like, hey girl, I'm low on beauty blenders, can you send me some more? It's not it's not that kind of relationship, but I have done work with them before. I've done some social media work with them before. I love the owner. I got to meet her and the social media team years ago at Miami Swim Week. They were doing the makeup backstage, and I was covering Miami Swim Week with Cover FX, and Cover FX and Beauty Blender were working together. And I've been to the Beyonce concert with them. I love Erica, who is Rhea's daughter, who, you know, you see her in a lot of the Beauty Blender videos. I love her as well. So it's not like, you know, we're BFFs and like I show up at the barbecue and at holidays and things like that. It's not that kind of relationship, but it's different than the relationship I have with some other beauty brands, where they're beauty brands who send me things and it's like I don't even know who sent it. So that said, I did have a conversation with one of the social media people about the foundation range, and I'm not going to disclose who was in that conversation because that to me seems kind of sucky. Like, we're having a private conversation, well, it's through email, but we're having a private conversation and then like you just go on camera and tell everyone about it. So I did mention that when I opened up my press package that, wow, it does look like there is a lot of beige shades in here compared to the deeper ones. But I hadn't had a chance to like really go through it, because what happens sometimes with some of these frosted bottles that a lot of foundations go in, it kind of distorts what the actual foundation looks like. Now, I'm not into packaging and things like that. Like, I don't have a lot of packaging knowledge. I don't have a lot of the marketing behind packaging knowledge. So there could be a reason why brands go for the frosted bottle as opposed to others, but it kind of distorts the shade of the foundation. But, you know, it's not going to be like a huge distortion, because it's like, obviously you can tell that this is a deep shade and this is a lighter shade. But I do feel like, because to me, all of the beige shades looked pretty much the same. I'm sure there are differences in the beige shade, but because of the frosting, it looks, the frosted glass, it looks like a lot of the beige shades are the same. So it looks a lot like a lot of the stuff that people with deeper skin tones that we're tired of seeing, where it's like, yeah, we have 50 shades of foundation, and then it's like 45 of them are beige, and then 5 of them are like maybe okay for deeper skin. That's exactly what it looked like. You know, on the outside looking in. Even for me, looking at my press package, I'm like, wow, there are a lot of beige shades. And I kind of looked at the deeper shades, and to me it looked like there were only maybe 4 or 5 deeper shades. But then when I started to look at it, you know, look at the foundations more, like for instance, this is my shade match. This is shade 440. I'm sorry, 4.40. And in the packaging, I was like, yo, this is going to be way too light for me. Like, I felt like I wasn't going to have a shade match in this range, because that one looked too light. And then the one that looked like it might have been my shade, when I, you know, pumped it out, it was too dark and too red. So I will kind of start off by saying that looks can be deceiving. I do think there is room for more of the deeper shades. I will say that some of the criticism I saw, because when this foundation dropped and hit social media, I was off having my issues with my car breaking down and trying to get to my road trip, so you can check out those videos. So a friend of mine had sent me a screenshot of the range, And I was like, wow, that seemed very disappointing, knowing what I know about Beauty Blender. And I saw like a lot of the comments, and then somebody had tagged me in a post saying they can't wait for my review or whatever, but I couldn't really get into it because it's like, yo, my car's overheating and I'm trying to enjoy my trip. So a lot of the criticisms, outside of the fact that there seemed to be so many lighter shades and only a few darker shades, were that within the darker shades, they did not look like shades that would match deeper skin. So now, looking at the packaging that you saw on social media and some of the promo pictures and things like that, yes, it did look orange. And I know some people were, you know, kind of annoyed that Beauty Blender was saying it's the lighting or it's this or it's that. And it seemed like excuses because, like, we've been here before with brands trying to, like, you know, gaslight us into thinking that, you know, the two deeper shades that they made are going to match us. And even I going in, even with the press package right in front of me, because of the way that the frosted foundation bottle makes the colors look, even for me, I was looking like, okay, I'm probably not going to find a shade, which I did wind up finding. And not only that, just knowing the background of Ria Ann Silva's background in makeup artistry and some of the women of color that she's worked with. So we're not talking about someone who's like, you know, a celebrity makeup artist who only worked with like the Nicole Kidmans and the, I don't know, Taylor Swifts of the world. We're talking about someone who worked on a multitude of skin tones, but again, I still think there's opportunity to add more shades in the deeper end, but I don't think the deeper shades are as bad as it might have looked in the promo images, and we're going to explore that in this video. Okay, so first let's talk about the packaging, which I think the packaging is a really cool innovation. So what's cool about this packaging is that when you pump the foundation, this area here serves as like a palette so that you can, you know, get your foundation, put it on. So that serves as like a palette for your foundation. There's a lock right here so you can, you know, make sure that it's not spilling. And this pump, it doesn't dispense like it doesn't dispense the foundation loosely, so it gives you a good even amount. But I love the innovation in the packaging. Okay, so I'm gonna apply the foundation, and as I'm applying the foundation, I'm gonna, you know, kind of read off some of the things from the press release because, you know, I'm just going right in and filming this, so all I know is that this is a long wear matte foundation, but it's helpful to know other things that are in the press release so that you understand, you know, where the brand was coming from and how they were creating the foundation. So again, my shade is 440. I'm not sure yet if they're making these sponges because there's the different colored like nude sponges. I'm not sure if they're making these to sell, but they were definitely in the press kit. So I mean, if they have them, who knows, maybe down the line they'll sell them as well. So, you know, Beauty Blender says that they've been working on this foundation for years, and that's one thing to keep in mind sometimes with these makeup launches, because I do think that because they come out, they seem to us to come out so quickly, but you don't realize how many years in advance that brands came up with formulations and, you know, the marketing and things like that. So it's not easy to just, you know, put out a makeup line real quick and sell it to the masses. I mean, it might be easy to hurry up and, you know, sell something to the masses, but is it going to be good? That's another question. So my light keeps messing up. I probably should close my blinds because it's a cloudy day today and the clouds keep shifting, so my light keeps shifting. So I apologize for that. But so far, so good. This 4.40 shade is for a neutral undertone. There are two shades in the deeper end that are neutral, which I'm happy to see because a lot of times with darker skin tones and foundation, you're mostly seeing like either something that's very cool or something that's very golden. And with a neutral undertone, you know, you're going to look green if you go with something that's golden, and it's going to look too red if you go with something that's a little too cool. So happy to see neutral. I tried this on before I got on camera to try to test out the shade, and it's blended nicely into my skin. It's giving a skin-like, let me look in the mirror. It's giving a skin-like appearance, which I love. And then I like that it's buildable, so if you need to go in and you need more coverage, you can go in and add more coverage. They describe the finish as a velveteen matte finish, never dull, never chalky. It has a multi-dimensional effect, which is great because you don't want something too matte where it's like flat and it doesn't really look natural or skin-like. So this is multi-dimensional, has a multi-dimensional effect, like naturally gorgeous skin, which looks picture perfect in real life and on screen. So I'm reading this out of the press materials because, like I said, it's important for you to know what's what. And then it has a liquid whip texture. The unique high-speed hyper whip process takes the silky smooth emulsion into a weightless, easily blendable texture. So to me, it does kind of give you like the cross between a cream and a liquid, which is great, especially when it comes to layering it for coverage. You can go light with the coverage if you want more of a natural or a sheer finish, or you can layer up if you need a little bit more coverage. I'm going to add a little bit more in spots where I have dark spots or discoloration. So, and I like that you can layer it without it looking heavy. Now, of course, these are my first impressions, so I would actually have to wear this out in order to give a real review. So make sure that you are subscribed to my blog, because while I'm trying to get the hang of filming more and uploading more on YouTube, in between I still have other things that I need to do, like, you know, my blog, and then I consult with other brands, and, you know, I have like 10 jobs, you know. Until I get the hang of that, when it comes to like full-on reviews, those will be on the blog. Okay, so far I'm loving the finish. I like the color. So as I say in my Are You Wearing the Wrong Foundation video, which you should definitely check out if you're having trouble matching your foundation or you're just looking for something new. So women of color, especially those of us with deeper skin tones, we're not all one uniform shade. A lot of times, especially in our face, we're lighter in the center of our faces and darker around the perimeter. So there are things that you can do to kind of help you match that up or to have a more natural look. So make sure you check out that video to check that out. But here we're just looking for balance. We're not looking for everything to be all one color. You want to be able to make it look like as if, you know, your head belongs to your body. So we're looking for balance. You don't have to have everything, and I'm not putting foundation down here. One, I don't have the time. Two, that's going to get expensive, and, you know, I like to be frugal with my coins. And three, I'm not trying to mess up my clothes, so I'm not doing all that. But I'm loving it so far. So I'm going to put on a full face of makeup just to see how it works and interacts with, like, when I highlight and contour, how it looks with, like, you know, a full beat with eyes, eye makeup and everything. So I'm going to do that. And I'll be right back and we'll talk about more on this foundation. So while I'm baking, I figured we'd go over swatches of the other deeper shades, to kind of check them out, see if it really is the frosted nature of the foundation bottle that is distorting what the foundation shades look like, and see if they're actual viable shades that people with deeper skin tones can use. Again, I'm wearing shade 4.40. I've highlighted and contoured because I wanted to see how well it worked with my other products, but let's get into these swatches. Okay, so I am going to put these on my arm as well, of course, but I figured this is like a nice neutral way to show off the shades. Well, first we have 3.75, 4.1, and then 4.2. Next we have 4.3, 4.4, and then 4.5, 4.6, and 4.7. So let's get some swatches on my arm. Okay, so here are the shades on my arm. I don't think these look orange. I would say that there are some shades that will match a lot of people with deeper skin tones. There are a lot of gaps in between the shades, so I would say that there's a lot of room for more shades on the deeper end of the spectrum, definitely. Again, lighting and things like that may make a shade look different. So the only shade that looks like it could be orange is 4.3, which is right there. But that is a warmer shade, and believe it or not, there are people who have that color, people who may have more of like a caramel complexion, but you know how sometimes there's more golden on the caramel end, and there's some people who have more of a red undertone on the caramel end. I would say this is more of that reddish caramel. There are a lot of other undertones in deeper ranges that could be represented here, such as olives. There could be some more neutrals. I mean, obviously there's more room for improvement to have shades in between, especially when you look at how many of the lighter shades there were versus the deeper shades. When you look at it on the surface, it looks like, oh, okay, there's deeper shades, but those of us with deeper skin tones, or those, well, actually, let me say this. Those of us who have knowledge of the different skin tones, whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a beauty expert, or if you're someone who, you know, is a chemist and you make makeup for a living, you'll know that, you know, there's more. There's more that you can put in here. I mean, for me, I would say in getting the shades right, as in these are shades that'll match people with actual human skin, I would say they did a good job with these shades. I would say that they, you know, it needs improvement. Remember that grade in school? Needs improvement on the in-between shades and more undertones on a deeper end of the spectrum. But from what they had, they did a decent job. But overall, needs improvement when it comes to having more shades on the deeper end of the spectrum. Okay, so I did my highlight and contour with my Bobbi Brown and Cover FX products. I have a video on how I highlight and contour, so make sure you check that out if you want to, you know, see that in action. I did my brows, I did my eye makeup. I'm wearing makeup from my MAC palette, which I also did a video on before, and I also have a brow video if you want to see that. I added blush from the NARS Wanted 2 palette, so I just kind of took 3 shades, a bright red, a shimmery orange, and like a shimmery light pink, kind of blended them together and just... And then on my lips I have the Lorac Alter Ego Lip Gloss in Free Spirit, which I'm almost running out of and I need more, so I'm going to have to go to Ulta and buy, probably get 2 more tubes. But yeah, so I like the foundation so far. Obviously, I have not been out in the elements with it, so I like to take at least maybe 2 to 3 days to test the foundation, which is why I'm like, okay, I want to film and put more stuff up here on YouTube, but there are going to be certain things like that where it makes more sense for me to put it on the blog. So make sure you subscribe to my blog via the link in the description box so you can learn, you know, my full thoughts on the foundation. But yeah, the conclusion I'm coming up to with this is that, you know, I do think that Beauty Blender suffered a little bit from the perception that people had when you look at the... I'm not even gonna lie, when I looked at the pictures when it hit social media, it looked orange to me too. It looked like very few deeper shades. There's a decent amount of deeper shades. The shades that they did have, I think they did well with. They definitely need some gaps. They definitely can use more shades on the deeper end of the spectrum. As far as performance of the foundation and things like that, of course, I won't know that until later on. So make sure, again, you subscribe to my blog. But this is what we're looking like so far. We have our balance. Now, you're not looking for an exact match, but you want it to look like believable. Which is why sometimes I like to do the contouring, because it, you know, my neck might be a little bit darker around the edges here than the inside of my face. So it kind of like, so it balances. That's what we want. So make sure you check out my Are You Wearing the Wrong Foundation video to find out more about that. Depending on when you're watching this video, you may or may not have had a chance to try out the foundation in the stores. It launches July 24th. So, you know, depending on when you watch this video, you may or may not have tried it. So leave me a comment. Let me know if you would try it, or if you have already tried it, what do you think of the foundation? Another thing I really love, the innovation in the packaging is really, really dope. I love that. I love when, you know, brands think outside the box, give us something different, which is something that, you know, we've come to learn from Beauty Blender, especially, you know, they revolutionized the way that we apply our makeup with their Beauty Blender sponge. But, I will see you fine folks in my next video. Follow me on social via the links in the description box. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.